Hi, this is Pink Girly, and I'm going to do a live stream dry brushing two ceramic bunnies. And I'm just setting up my phone here so I can try to keep an eye on chat to see if I can find myself. Not coming up so far. Hoping I'll get some folks to come in. But I've been wanting to do this video. I was going to do a standalone, and I thought, you know what, let me just go live. I'm looking to gain some watched hours, and I thought this might work a little better for me. Now it's not bringing up. Maybe I should go out and come back in. Let's try that. Hi, Candy. How are you this afternoon? I'm a little, oh, there I am. I'm a little confused with the times. My computer, of course, and phone updated itself, but the clocks in the house haven't been changed yet, so I'm kind of in an in-between state. And I was just talking to the video, trying to set this up. So I'm trying to get my phone set up here so I can hopefully keep an eye on chat. You weren't feeling bad? You weren't feeling too well? Oh, I'm sad to hear that. Glad you're feeling better. Let's see if I can get I have this stand to hold my phone that looks like a big old spider, but that it keeps my phone at eye level, so it's a little easier for me to keep an eye on chat. So what I've just started to do, I have these two ceramic bunnies, and you'll have to let me know if maybe my camera is a little too close. Oh, Candy, I didn't realize that. Oh, I'm glad you're doing better. Holly's asking me how soon I'm going on, and I'm already on, and I don't know I don't want to get off my phone to tell her. Just a touch better. Did you see a doctor? I hope. Well, I've got these two, what I call pencil bunnies, tall bunnies. And I have a lot of folks that watch my ceramic videos. So on this one, I'm going to compare base coating a bunny in black, and then I've base coated one in this tan flesh color. And they're the same piece, and I'm going to use the same colors, dry brushing, so that we can compare and see how different they look with a light base coat versus a dark base coat. So I'm just going to see how this goes. Oh, that's probably a good plan. Endoscopy. So he's got an idea of what he thinks might be going on. He just wants to confirm. Oh, gotcha. It's amazing what they can do these days, though. Yeah, it's best to get it checked out. Hi, Holly. I just saw your message, and I wasn't quite sure how to get an answer to you without closing down my phone, and I'm glad you found me. Well, I'll be with my son on Tuesday. He's going to have his upper teeth removed and a plate made. He's got really bad teeth. Of course, we had a fight with him when he was a kid to take care of them, but I think some of it is hereditary. And the poor kid's really got bad teeth. So I'm going to be with him on Tuesday. I'm going to take him for his appointment. Okay, I'm going to lay these guys down. All right, so here's the deal. I've got these two pieces. These are two, like, what I would call Papa bunnies. I call them pencil bunnies because they're tall and thin. And it's the same piece. They are ceramic. And what I've done is I've base coated the one in black. I see a couple spots I've missed. And the other one in a tan or beige color. And I'm going to dry brush them both using the same color paints so we can compare and see the difference of how the different base coat might look. I've got a few ceramic videos that are popular with the folks that really are into ceramics. And I've done both kinds of projects, but I thought it might be fun for them or for anyone who's interested to see how it looks different when you choose a dark base coat versus a light base coat. Hi, JM. Thanks for popping in. So I'm going to get started here. Yeah, they are cute bunnies. I have a whole series. I've got little ones. Oh, looks like I missed him under his cane there. So if you're new to ceramics and you're going to try this technique, the base coat part, of course, is very easy. You just base coat over everything. But ceramic does drink in some paint. So you just want to make sure especially if you're doing a dark color like the black or a charcoal, that you cover your piece really well. You don't have any white spots. Because then once you've got a little white spot right there. Because once you start dry brushing, sometimes it's hard to cover up where you've not covered it well. So my go-to and my instruction would be for anyone just beginning or working with ceramics or doing a dry brush technique. Look, I've got black paint all over me already. Start with your lighter colors first, because what you do is you use a dry brush and you go from color to color, work that into your brush as you take it to your piece. And so you want to start lighter and then go darker rather than darker to go light, which makes it a little easier, especially if you only have a handful of brushes to use. My brushes are worn and torn and really have been abused. See this one, all the outside paint is all picking off. That's because Miss Lori leaves her brushes sit in water and abuses them. Okay. All right. Thank you, Holly. So instead of going right into a white on the face of the bunny and the ears and his paws, I'm going to start with a cream type tan-ish color. Now, of course, my second bunny here is already that color, but it'll just kind of intensify and help me with my base. And I think I'm going to pick up khaki color. So I'm just going to, this is mostly going to be kind of a teaching video. The folks that follow me is for my ceramic work. I think that's what they kind of enjoy. I'm just going to put out a little bit of paint. I just have one of these little bubble dishes here that I'm just going to use to tap into. And I've got a folded paper towel, some clean water. But again, I'm starting with a dry brush. And this is, I guess you'd call it a bristle brush. These white haired, it's not soft. I mean, they're pliable, but they are not soft, like a regular paintbrush like this. You can see how flexible this is. But you don't want them too stiff because you want to be able to brush back and forth. All right, so I'm going to just tip into my paint that I chose, which is khaki, and I'm working off, let me see if I can pull this the right way for the camera. I'm going to work this into my brush, and you want to kind of remember, hi Chris, it's nice to see you today. You want to remember that you want to put on light coats of paint because you always can add paint. I don't want to say you can't take paint off because you can always paint over, but that gets to be annoying. I have to say, it gets to be annoying. And so you just want to start with light layers, and then you want to stroke your brush across the grain of the piece of whatever it is you're working. All right. So I'm going to start with my tan bunny. And Holly and Chris and Candy, if I'm too close, let me know, or if not close enough, I can move my camera. I'm going to include my beard in this color as well because I want this to be a whiter color. And I'm just going to start really kind of scrubbing my khaki paint across the grain of his beard. And then I'm going to do his face. I'm trying to get myself in a good position here. Of course, my sweater cuff is messing with my... Now, I'm going to go right over the glasses. I'm not going to be fiddling too much with them at this stage. I just want to get some of this color on mostly the fur areas and then his beard. So I'm going to do right around the back of his head, his ears, his paws. Now, of course, even on projects like this, if you wanted to paint something solid, you certainly could do that too. But dry brushing does go a lot quicker than painting every surface and trying to do a lot of detail. Which I've told the story other times when I was my heyday of ceramics and I was doing craft fairs, and I might have 10 or 15 of these rabbits lined up to paint. I would use my air gun to put the base coat on and then dry brush them. And I'm going to do his tail. And the dry brushing, of course, was a lot quicker than painting each individual area of the rabbit. So did everybody remember to change their clocks? Well, Holly, you don't because you don't do that in Arizona, right? I'm going to come down here and do his paws. I guess his feet paws. His lower paws. Going all the way around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same color on my dark-based rabbit. Again, it's the same piece. And I'm going to use the khaki. And start a real light coat to highlight. on the same areas that I did on the tan. Just using a real light back and forth stroke. So what's everybody else up to today? It's beautiful here today. It's windy here in South Jersey, but it's really a nice sunny day for sure. Put out a little more paint. I just try to put out a little at a time because I usually end up, wasting it if I don't use it up, and I hate to waste it. And anything that I want white or a light color, I'm going to put this first coat of khaki on. Now I'll be a little more cautious while I'm doing the black base coated rabbit, because I want to come in with different colors with the suit jacket and whatnot. No, both, good question, Chris. Both pieces were white, a white bisque, like you can see underneath here. This is the raw ceramic piece. So I base coated one black and I base coated the other one a light beige tan color. But if you are familiar with ceramic at all, it starts out as a, that's too heavy, greenware, which you pour in it's liquid, it's called slip, and you pour it into your mold. And then it has to sit in the mold. The mold is porous and it sucks out the extra moisture, and then it becomes clay. And then once you open up your mold, the piece has to then dry for a little bit. And once it's dry, you put it in your kiln, and then it gets fired, and then it becomes this white color, which is then called bisque. It's not like porcelain. There's a little roughness to the bisque. Before you put it in the kiln and fire it, we clean it. We scrape off, because the mold is in two pieces. So like this guy would probably have had a seam right down the side. So you scrape that off and sand it and make it all nice. And then when it goes in your kiln, it fires. Now, if it was a coffee cup or a teacup or anything like that, a plate, something that you wanted to eventually eat off of or serve food, or you wanted a real shiny, glossy color, you would then, after it's painted, let me see. Well, the greenware would last as long as you wanted it to, but it is very fragile and breakable. It's it's clay. Looks like a greenish brown sludge. We used to buy it in bags when we had our kiln and we were pouring ceramic pieces. And then my husband would dump it in a bucket. Like one of those painter buckets that you can put a sealed lid on. And then he would take it from there and pour it into the molds. The molds would fit together like a candy mold, if you're familiar with a candy mold at all. Yes, it's all the way fired. And then the mold would go together like this. And we had these great big wide elastic bands, like a rubber band, that would slip over the mold and hold the mold shut. And then Ron would pour all the liquid in and then dump it out. Like if you wanted the mold, say the piece to be heavier, you would let it sit in the mold longer because it would suck out more of the moisture and the wall of the piece would be thicker. And then he would dump out the excess, and then he would leave them sit, I think probably overnight. And then when you crack the mold open, like took the bands off and pulled it open, he would be like laying in this white block. And then Ron would lift him out, and he'd be a real dark, almost like an army green color. And then we would leave them sit till they became a lighter green color. And then I would clean off the sides, and then Ron would put them in the kiln and fire them. And there's, instructions of how long to leave them in to be fired and all that jazz, And then I would paint them. And if you wanted it to be what they call glaze, I have a piece of greenware rabbit ashtrays for over 20 years. Wait a minute, it disappeared for me. And 20 years old in my spare bedroom. Well, I would check with whoever you were going to take it to fire it. I'm not sure. I would think it could be fired without a problem. But, I would let them know, heads up, they may not want it in their kiln. I'm really not sure. I mean, that's a long time. I'm surprised it's in good shape. And it's the greenish color, Chris. It's not white, because if it's white, it's bisque, and you're good to go. And then there's glaze, which is a liquid product that really has like crushed and broken glass in it. And once you paint that on and the kiln heats up and you fire that, that looks like your dishes, your high gloss dishes and your china. It's real. All right, so now I'm going to go to my white. I'm going to put out some white. And I'm going to get these white spots on the bunnies done. And you can make your rabbits any color. You can make them brown. You can make them black. So I'm just adding a little bit of white. I didn't put this brush in water. I'm leaving it dry, so to speak. I mean, the paint is wet, but there's no water in my brush. And I'm just kind of like cleaning out that khaki color and getting it as light as I can. So then I can come back to my piece and go over those areas that I just prepped with the khaki. I've had planned to do this video for some time, and I'm trying to catch up on a few things. I've been busy. Now, if you do something like this and this is not as bright of a white as you might want it, then you're just going to let this coat dry. And it dries very quickly because acrylic paint dries quickly all by itself. But then you can come back with another white or a different shade of white and really pop up the color. Near the back of his head. But I just thought it would be fun to dry brush the same piece with the two different base coat colors so folks could see how different your piece would look. Yes, yeah. If it's 20 years old, wherever you're going to take it for them to put in their kiln, I would just say, hey, look, I've had this for 20 years. Is it okay to fire it? It probably is, Chris, but really, I don't know. Because if something explodes in the kiln, and that does happen, and you never know if it's going to happen, then you've got shards of clay that's going to possibly knock into whatever else you might have in the kiln. And of course, if they're glaze, well, they probably wouldn't do glaze the same time they're doing bisque. So I would just ask. There's not too many shops around where I am. I can think of one, and since COVID, I'm not sure if they're even open right now. you know, sells ceramic. Now you can get these types of pieces, and I don't even know if they're considered ceramic or resin, but I think every once in a while Michael's has some, but it's usually like around Halloween. They'll have some skulls and pumpkins and stuff like that. But, and I think it's still popular. I think you just have to really work to find pieces, because I'll tell you what, some of my older ceramic videos have a lot of views on them. There's a lot of people still interested in this art form. Now this doesn't really look like much here because this is so light, but once I start getting some color on his outfit, then I have to decide what color I want to do his outfit. That's always the more challenging part, especially years ago when I used to do a lot of them at once. I don't know if I want to do them all the same or different. Now this particular piece, oh, this is the wrong white. That white is real thick. Couldn't get it to come out. Let me get this. There's this guy, a mom, and I think 2 brothers and 1 or 2 sisters. There's like 4 or 5 pieces. It makes like the whole family. I mean, they're really cute. But I've had these for years. Not 20, but probably a good, well, we've been here in Jersey 7 or 8 years. And we brought this from Pennsylvania with us. Gosh, I haven't done ceramics since, oh goodness. You know what, Chris? These probably are close to 20 years. Now I'm thinking about it. But this is ceramics. See, they're hard. Just packed away in the box. My husband was digging around the garage for something. He said, oh, look what I found. All right, so now I'm going to switch to my dark base coated piece. And I'm just going to skip over the top and do really light strokes. And what you want is you want that dark contrast so you can see the detail of the piece. Now you can add color in here. You can add a little bit of yellow. I might even try to do that. A little bit of brown or shading up around his hat line. You know, you're really free to do whatever you'd like, whatever look you like. So I'm open to suggestions for his suit. If anybody's got any ideas. Now this little area here where I guess it's like his muzzle right in there. I want that to be a little brighter. So I'm just going to add another layer on there. And not forget his ears. See, I just think it's so cool looking. In the past, I've done these pink and blue. I don't know if I ever did a lavender for the dad. Or the grandpa, whatever you want to call him. I don't even know whose mold this is. Usually there's a name printed on it somewhere, but I don't even see that. And his feet look like he's got, what do they call them? Spats. Remember how the old-timey guys had spats? They'd snap around their feet somehow. All right, so for right now, I'm going to let that go. And here's our comparison so far. Dark versus light. All right. Now I'm going to go into my pink. I'm going to do a pink nose, pink inside the ears. And I think I'm going to put some pink on the cheeks. Maybe I'll do a combo of a pinky peach. Might be nice. Let's see. This one's almost empty. This is called Tickled Pink, and this is a folk art color. I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, I was just going to do a standalone, and I thought, well, I found that my live seemed to be watched a little more readily than my standalones. So, all right. So you want to do what I say, not do what I do. You should really pour the paint out, a little dot out, but I'm just going to tip into my paint lid, which is, really not a good practice. And my brush is really kind of large, but I don't think I have a real tiny one. And I'm just going to come in here and try to get a little bit of color. And if I don't like it, I might just end up painting his nose rather than dry brush it. I'm going to dry brush inside of his ear. I just get one layer on there, and then I'll come back and put a second. And you just, you'll know when you start to, you'll know the way you start using your brush. Yeah, thanks, Holly. I thought it would be interesting too. I'm hoping others find it interesting. You'll realize when your brush starts to kind of use up all the color, and it's time to reload. But I'm going to give these guys a little bit of color on their cheeks. I always think that kind of gives them a little personality. So I'm going to let him sit off to the side. And then pick this guy up. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the bottom some kind of a green. So it looks like he's standing on a mound of grass. And he's got a pipe and a cane. And this looks like some kind of a watch fob. The smaller areas are a little dicey to get into. Of course, years ago I had all different size brushes, and I really haven't found a replacement brushes for these brushes that I've had for years. All right. So I'm just taking a little bit of that pink and then a little bit of that. What's the other one called? Coral Blush. That's an Americana color. That's really a nice color. And just blending them on my paper towel to kind of get the color that I like or that I think I want. So here they are so far. I always think my camera's in a different direction. I don't know how well you can see those. I think they look so cute with a little bit of color on their faces. I think this guy needs a little bit more cheek color. I'm going to intensify that a little bit. Now, if you're going to different color palettes, say you're going to move into a darker set of colors, and it might take a little bit of work to bring your brush up to where you want it to color-wise. Just pick up another brush and start again, and start with the color that you want to, and leave the lighter brush for the lighter colors, and that's okay too. Well, he's looking pretty good. All right. Just add a little bit more. All right, now while I have my white paint sitting here before it gets dry and hard, I'm going to paint in the whites of the bunny eyes. Try not to waste too much of that paint. So let me find a nice little I have my brushes in a lot of different spots, and I used some yesterday. Oh, here we go. They're over here. I was working on some light bulbs. So the cool thing about ceramics is that you have the space where everything really goes. So his eyes, it's all, I don't have to make them up. It's just indented, and you just have to really, like your coloring, just fill it in. And of course, Easter, I'm thinking, lighter colors for Easter wear. I think I'm going to do, although I don't think my gold paint, acrylic paint, is that great, I think I am going to use gold or silver for the glasses and for his clock. Now it's like he's got a little bit of a shirt showing there, so maybe I'll do a light yellow for the shirt. And that might be hard to go from an orangey pinky color to a light yellow. So I'm going to be done with this brush and put it in my water because it will stiffen up. And then I have this smaller brush. It's not too big. I'm going to try to get in there and do the shirt a light yellow. So let's see. I've got this. This is called Summer Squash, and this is a Deco Art Americana color. So let me get a little bit of this. And then I think I might choose a light blue for his suit. Same thing, dry brush, it's not been in the water. I'm going to tip it into my yellow. Now it's a little more intense than I want it, so I'm going to tip into my white and lighten that up a little bit. A little bit of yellow, a little more white until I mix that. I can always intensify it after the fact. So I'm just going to, now this is hard. There's no grain. There's no texture on his shirt. Actually, I probably could paint that. But being it's a dry brushing video, I'm trying to dry brush everything. I got some paint kind of clumped up there. So at this point, you can't even really see that that's yellow. So I'm going to go straight back into my yellow. Yeah, that's better. And do the shirt, and then I think I'm going to do the band of his hat yellow. And I'm trying to be as neat as I can to not get over into the hat, but I'm going to come back over that with blue, and that should cover. And we'll get this guy's shirt. Now, believe me, you may think, wouldn't it be a lot faster to just paint all the areas? But it really isn't. Because the base coat, you can just pretty much slap it on and not be too particular about it. But to then paint it, first of all, it will look really flat. And then to make it look three-dimensional or have any pizzazz to it, you know, you need to do some dry brushing or some other work on it. So it really is a lot quicker to do it this way. All right, so now I need to decide about a blue. And I think I'm going to go into my green because I have yellow on my brush. That kind of makes sense to me. I can go into my green and then I can work my green out hopefully and do my suit, although I might just start another brush to do the blue. So I need to pick out a nice green, and I'm going to pick a middle of the road green, I think. I do love my camel green. It is very Eastery. I'm going to try the avocado. This is a Deco Art color. I think I'm putting everybody to sleep. The sound of my voice is causing you to doze. All right, so I'm going to start on the back just because to me that kind of makes sense, especially if you're trying out a new color. Now this is so nicely texturized. See how it's just hitting the top of that surface? See, this is what I love about dry brushing. Right there. Bam. Bingo. It just really looks so cool to me. Now remember, you can always add another coat, but once you slam a big heavy spot on there, if you don't like it, you're going to have to repaint it. Which, if your base coat is black, it's not too bad, but if you're starting with a lighter base coat, like the tan, sometimes it's hard to cover it back up. Not that it can't be done, but now I'm thinking if I remember, like the spats in my mind were white that used to wrap around their ankles, I think. I think I might paint those white. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it, guys? Yay, Holly, I'm glad you're still awake. I don't know why this bottle of avocado here kind of exploded when I opened the lid. So I'm just using that paint off of the lid. This is a nice green. Well, the grandchildren came for a visit yesterday, my daughter and son-in-law. My son-in-law helped my husband with a project, which was great. And my grandchildren are just so cute, honestly. They're so good about wearing those masks, too. Our grandson had a little bit of an issue, but really just the one time. But, I mean, he's 2, you know? Oh, Holly's making lunch. Okay. Hope you're having something good, Hol. Apparently they were singing in the car. We're going to Mama and Pop's house. They haven't been here in a really long time. And I told them I'm hoping for my birthday in August I can get a hug, because I'm sick of air hugs. Sick of air hugs, girls, I gotta say. So you can see the difference already. of how different the two different base coats look, right? I know what my favorite is. I don't know if y'all have a favorite. I'm going to put another coat of this avocado down, try to deepen that up a little bit. I've used up what's on the lid, so I'm going to squirt out a little into my little dish here. Now, when you want to go to a second coat and lighten up this green, you can go to a lighter green, of course, or you could just add some white in on your brush to lighten it up. And I tend to get a little more heavy-handed on the second coat. Chicken pot stickers. Oh, that sounds good. All right, so that's the second coat on the dark. And I think what I'm going to do while my white is still in good shape there too, like I did with the eyes, I'm going to paint in the spats. I think I want a little bit of a bigger brush. Maybe I can use maybe a little round brush might be good. Let's try this one. And because I'm going to paint, not dry brush, I'm putting that brush in water. And I'm going to use my white. And I'm going to paint these spats white. Now, should I get some blue from the suit on these, which, let's face it, it's a good possibility, I'll just come back in and put a second coat of the white on. There's a little button there. My grandkids were enamored with, well, mostly my grandson, enamored with our dogs. He was trying in the worst way to get our dogs to engage and play with him. And our one dog, she's just never really been like that. She's kind of always been an old soul. But our younger dog, I was surprised. She must have been beat to the socks yesterday because she was not having it. She was just looking at him like, really, dude? He really was trying hard to get that dog's attention. This brush has got some wild hairs. I think this brush might be headed for the trash can. I turn my piece all which ways because sometimes it's hard to see, especially with three-dimensional piece. Like I can see how it bevels down better this way than the other way onto the top of the bunny's foot. I'm trying to, I keep forgetting I have my camera. Let me move it down just a little. Ugh. It's hard to paint and hold. I'm a clutcher. I kind of clutch it towards me a little bit. And I keep forgetting that you don't always see me very well that way. So right now I'm just kind of like leaning forward to hopefully be in screen. Now I notice it got little buttons on the side here, so I have to remember to do those gold too. And here, this piece, I don't know if you can see, but you can see the line. That's the line where the mold would be. It wasn't cleaned off real well. I don't remember whether we poured these or whether I just bought these. We didn't have a lot of molds. I mean, some places, oh man, they have hundreds and hundreds, shelf after shelf of all the different molds. We didn't have that many. We were working out of the garage of our townhouse at one point. Okay. I think that's good. Now I need to decide on a blue. And I'm going to use a bigger brush. I think this brush is not so good. Yeah, see, look. See, this is so loose. Look, I pulled all those brush hairs out. It should be like that. I might squeeze the end of this. Kind of clamp that. That might work. This is what my nail girl says they do. They have these really, the really cool brushes that they put the acrylic on with. And it's just the regular round brush, she said. And then they take it and they crimp the ends. It kind of flattens it out for them. And that makes it easy for them to lay the acrylic on. Cool, right? All right, I want to start with something fairly light. I might go in the vein of turquoise because it's Easter. Maybe a medium kind of turquoise. And then I could do some highlights. This is a desert turquoise. Let me try this. Hopefully it won't be too dark. You still hanging with me? Oh, I lost somebody. All right, guys. I'm going to flip over my paper towel. I'm going to put my green. Oh, you know what? I didn't do my light. Let me do the light green before I move on. Let's see. I think I'm going to use the green and then see if I can lighten it up with my white. And I'm just skipping that in different spots. I don't necessarily need it to be everywhere. Nobody is chatting. Everybody's sleeping. Think I'll eat some worms. Shall I sing? That ought to wake everybody up. I should ask a question. Now, see, I'm doing the same thing here on the tan, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's really not highlighting as well because you don't have that contrast. Still looks okay, but you just don't have the contrast that you do on the darker surface. And it doesn't have to be black. It could be charcoal. It could be a dark brown. You could have something. It could be red. You can do it. You can do it whatever way you want. All right, guys? So there you can see it's not really that visible on the tan, the highlighting. All right, let's do tan first when we come to the, let's get these brushes out of my way. All right, the green is going into the water. I'm going to start on the back of his suit. And I'm using my desert. That's a Deco Art Americana color. I'm going to use the desert turquoise. And here we go. Now I'm going the wrong way. I'm going to switch and go across the green of his suit jacket. I do want this a little darker. I might do some up and down like this because I want to kind of fill in a little bit. So I don't want it to look like a tan suit that's been hit with slime. So if I go the same direction as the texture in his suit, I'll get a little more color. I'll come around his tail here. And you can use a brush as big as you're comfortable with. You know, if you've had a really big brush, I have a bigger one over there, I could probably use. Then it goes even faster. See, I'm used to pushing this up against me. So Holly, how many hours are we apart now that you don't do the daylight savings? Before it was 3. So does it go down to 2 or does it go up to 4? I'm very dyslexic about this kind of thing. Right now here for me, it's 3:10. I think the turquoise was a good color choice. I'm getting some crumblies. Some crumblies. And the pieces that you work on, you can make it a mixture, you know, painting some like I did the spat area or his eyes, you know, if they have a tie or a bow or something in particular that you want more intense color on the piece, you could always paint that solid, the color that you want. Fall back to spring forward 3 hours. Okay, so, but I thought we were 3 hours. Wow, I'm really confused now. I'll have to ask my phone what time it is in Arizona. Is it all Arizona or just like the area that you're in? We're going to have hamburgers and mac and cheese for dinner. That kind of sounds good to me. I'm still getting that, that brush is still pushing back into the wood. All Arizona. It's 12 noon now. Okay. 3, but I thought it was 3 before. Quite interesting, I do say. Quite interesting, my dear. One of our dogs is kicking up a ruckus. I know what she's yapping about. I just want to be careful where his hands are, his little beard. Don't really want any blue on that. And I think I'm going to paint the time clock for his little clock piece here. So I'm just going to go over that with the blue instead of having to fiddle. As that paint kind of dries on my dry brush, I'm getting some little crumbs of paint. It's not a big deal, you just brush it off. Oh no, look what I did, girls. I put my napkin, my paper towel right in my paint. So I'm just going to come and scrub down here by his little walking stick. And be a little careful around his paw. I don't want to forget to do his hat because I believe everything would match. Especially for Easter Sunday. I haven't watched that movie in a long time. What was it called? Easter Parade with Van Johnson and was it Van Johnson? I think so. And Judy Garland. I could go for an old-timey movie, I could. Now you could paint the suit the color that you wanted and then dry brush on top to add some highlight and some dimension. But my purpose for this video is to show the same piece done in the same colors, but two different base coats. In fact, that angel that I was doing at Christmas time, I was thinking about painting over her because she looks a little... Yeah, the one I'm thinking about wasn't Fred Astaire. The one I'm thinking about is definitely Van Johnson. Bigger guy, blonde hair. Or maybe a couple of them. I like those old-timey movies. I should have gotten myself a beverage, girls, but I did not. All right, for right now, first coat, I'm going to leave that as it is. Yeah, I don't know about... I might be thinking of a different one where it didn't start out Easter, but it ended with Easter. Might have been that shop around the corner. I'm not sure that I'm thinking of the right one, but I know one. Her and Van Johnson. Oh, I forgot his hat. Her and Van Johnson were the couple. I'll have to Google. Now, I want to be careful I don't bust off his ears when I'm sitting it down like this, and don't want to have to do an earectomy on my bunny rabbit. So my granddaughter, who is 5, told me yesterday that when she grows up, she wants to be an artist, and that she's going to be taking an art thing at school. She's very excited about. And then I was showing her some of the rocks I had painted, and I had painted these crazy faces on some rocks. So she was saying she would never be able to paint the eyes, and they're just little plain eyes. And I told her I would teach her, and she said, I said, when you get a little older, I'll teach you how to do that. And she said, you mean like when I'm 6 or 7? Good old summertime. Yeah, I think that's it, huh? Thank you. Yeah, Van Johnson, right? Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Okay, so we've got his hat. Pretty well done. Oh, I didn't do his rim. I forgot the little rim. And like I said, if you're doing this and you find that you don't like it, just paint over it. No harm, no foul. I do have a couple other little ideas up my sleeve. Which I haven't tried before, but I'm thinking about trying them on these guys. Okay, so there's my tan-based bunny. And I need more of my desert turquoise. Beautiful, beautiful color. Now let's see what this looks like when we put it on the black. Same thing, dipping in my brush, applying it, rubbing most of it off. Van Jump Buster Keaton, yeah. Cool, coolio. All right. Here we go. Using a bigger brush. I feel like I want to get moving on this. So let me, on these big areas here, I should have done this before. Let me get motor in here. Let's see. We're over at an hour. I'm already putting everybody to sleep. Let's get moving here. See, look. Now, it just occurred to me when I was doing this type of work years ago that not everybody might like a bunny that looks, on the dark side. So that's when I wanted to lighten it up and started doing some pieces with the lighter base coat. My personal preference is the darker. At least for this technique, because you can see the detail in the ceramic piece much better. I forgot to put white on this guy's bunny tail. We shall have to go back and brighten that up. Brighten up his little tail. Should watch The Quiet Man for St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if I know that one. You can see how bigger brush, if you're comfortable with it, you can go a lot faster. I'll get up around his neck and collar. And then, of course, depending on how much color you want, uh, you know, you would do another coat or two, just building up your layers of color. I'm slipping out of my chair again. I have a hard time staying in my chair. I'm always witching forward. I gotta fix myself here, kids. Let me just readjust myself and get back in the saddle, so to speak. Smaller area, I'm going to move to the smaller brush. John Wayne, oh, I love those too. See how I got darker right there? You don't want to do that. You want to try to do even coat. I love that. Well, they were in one called the McClintock or something like that. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Those were the days of movies, as far as I'm concerned. All right, I need to do that leg. And I need to do his hat. All these folks that watch my ceramic and dry brush videos, I don't think they know I do live stuff. I don't know how to get them to know. It's like a whole different group of folks. I got this sleeve. And I'm going to switch to the smaller brush for his hat. Oh, I apologize for that. So I'm just coming around the rim here. Advertise. Yeah, but I don't know how to advertise. Most of them don't watch my Paint Girly channel. Most of them are on that other channel, which I have said several times. I'm not putting anything else on my other channel and to come over to the Paint Girly channel, but I don't think they get it. I'm going to do the top of the hat rim here. My son-in-law was telling me yesterday that my grandson watches Evan Storm on YouTube, and he's a little boy that plays with monster trucks. Okay. My grandson absolutely loves him. All the kid does is play with monster trucks and cars. Some people come up with the cleverest ideas. So they've got all these little kids watching this kid play with trucks. My grandson absolutely loves it. So we turned one on, and it's on YouTube. We turned one on just to watch a little of it last night, and the kids saying happy birthday to all these different kids. I did, Holly. I did make a video. And it's just a scream to me. And apparently there's another kid, he reviews toys for kids. This kid, I think, is a millionaire because his things are so popular. And I think he's got his own toy line now because the kid's so popular on YouTube. Okay, can you imagine? All right, so here's just coat number 1. Where's my camera? Of the 2. Oh, I'm forgetting that my camera's flip-flopped. Okay. Now, I think the dark, you could really get away with just the 1 coat. The lighter coat, undercoat, you definitely need a 2nd coat. So I'm going to go ahead and try to. Now, once you get your first coat down, your 2nd coat doesn't need as much. And it does go a little faster. And in most cases, you're just doing one project. You're not doing, several. So I'm just going to come in here. I want this to be a little more solid, but not totally solid. So I'm just going to come on. You can put a little bit more on your brush if you'd like, if you're comfortable. You don't want it streaky. You want it to get even as you can. And I'm just saying that because, hey, Sharon Marlowe, hi, happy Sunday. Yeah, that's the one I like too, Holly, the darker one. So I'm just gonna see, it's going on a lot easier now that I've got that undercoat on. So I'm just coming down, trying to just add some additional color here. This lighter based coated bunny is just looking just a little too dreary for me. So I'm gonna just deepen this color a little bit here by adding a 2nd coat. And like I said, it does dry quicker the thinner your coat you put on, but acrylic paint really dries fairly quickly anyway. I'm just trying to get those spots I missed. I'm going to come around here to the front and use my smaller brush to get in closer to his beard and up around his shirt, and then I'll do his hat. And like I said, I'm not too worried about his watch fob, if you will. I come in by the beard and then around his sleeve here. I did get some on his little paw, but we'll highlight that later with some more white. Let's do his hat. So I'm going to come underneath again. Get some color under there. Hey, Peggy. It's reverse in my house, Peggy. My husband goes, and when I go, it's very traumatic for him. And it costs him a lot more money. So I don't go very often. Peggy, I'm doing a ceramic pieces. They're both the same piece, just to catch up on what my plan is here. And I base coated one in a tan color and the other in black. But I'm using the same colors, dry brushing on the piece, so we can see the difference between a dark undercoat and a light undercoat when you're dry brushing on ceramic. Yeah, that's how it is with me and my husband when I go. I always have a blast. All right, so there he is, second coat. And now let's get this guy. Well, I'm also do the smaller areas first. I'll move this little guy out of the way. And let's, I'm going to flip my paper toweling only because I could still use that, but it's still a little damp. And then your hand gets in it. And, it's annoying. Okay, it's annoying. Hi, Chris. All right, let's see. I'm so afraid I'm going to crack off this guy's ears. All right, so I'm just doing my second coat now on the dark coated, undercoated rabbit. That was a little heavy there, girls, I must say. Actually, the hat is so smooth, you really could easily base coat that, and that would give you a different look, too. If you wanted to switch it up and have them not look totally the same. And I did do the hat band yellow and his shirt yellow. It's very windy here, girls, today. I'm telling you, it really sounds quite blustery out there. Now you got to hear my little dog yapping. She's been yapping for half an hour. I probably should have painted in his eyes. He looks a little freaky. I'm going to do his cane of brown. So if I slap a little blue over on that, it won't be too bad. I'm not sure about the pipe. I might do that a brown or a black, gray. Now I'm going to switch to this bigger brush. This is one of my original dry brush brushes from, oh my gosh, way, way back. Made by a company called Gare. I don't even know if they're still in business. G-A-R-E. Actually says dry brush on the brush. What's left of my outside coating of the handle. Now this I'm not so much going across the grain here. I'm kind of going with because I want to fill in and have the jacket of the rabbit look a little more opaque, if you will. Really? My expressions? He does look like an English bloke, does he not? He does. I just don't even want to tell you half of what I'm thinking when I'm doing this. I have to watch myself, girls. Don't want to go into a comedy routine and get kicked off of YouTube. I've got some on the spat. Did a spat on the spat. I can't tell you how much easier this second coat goes on. Now he's already pretty light, although desert turquoise is not that light of a color, but once you just put on a thin film, you know, it appears to be lighter. All right, so here are two differences of our two boys. All right. So if I go in with a little lighter turquoise, it's really going to change it a little bit. Let's see here what we've got. I'm going to ignore that dog. She can cross her little legs. I'm going to use some Bahama blue. I told my husband I'm going to stream, so he went out in the front yard. So the dogs are left to their own devices. All right, let's put a little bit of this in here. And I think I'm just going to highlight a little bit. I might use that desert to make the eye. Let's go here with the sky. Give the darker one a minute to dry a little bit. Okay, so now this time, this coat, to just catch and make some highlights, I'm going to go across. And you can start to see where the piece had, you know, texture in the mold. Come down, do his little pantaloons. They're not pantaloons, they're just pants. Trousers. All right. He's looking quite dapper. I might want to snug in there around his paw a little bit and around that cane. And we'll hit a little bit of the hat, do a little bit on his rim. And I got a little blue down under here, which, you know, and it really kind of looks like a little bit of eyeshadow, which really works for me. That's okay with me. Let me see if I can get some of this turquoise. Now his face is a little fiddly because he's little. It's not that big. I'm just going to put in a little turquoise circle. Put one over here. Now, when I did all my pieces of ceramics years ago, I gave them all a little eyeshadow. Didn't matter what they were. Oh, that looks kind of cute. If I do say so myself, nothing like admiring your own work. Okay. Now we're going to do the lighter on the dark undercoated bunny. And again, I kind of skip around sometimes with this. It doesn't have to be in every spot. It might look a little streaky. I guess it does look a little streaky, but you know what? I don't really mind that. And it makes it look more like carved wood, which I'm not sure the person that made the mold, whether that's what was in their mind, but looks good, right? And we'll do a little bit of the hat. Now I did make this guy's little, I don't know what you call that area of his face. There's little puppy things in his cheeks. It takes practice, Chris, like everything else, but you could do it. I know. This guy has a beard. Only because the person that made the mold decided he was going to have a beard. So you can just do anything you want. Okay, where's my little... Here it is. I think I still have, oh yeah, plenty of blue here. I need to get myself to the eye doctor. I'm way overdue for an eye exam, and boy, I can really tell. I'm going to put a second coat in here. Well, I use my finger, Sharon, my little finger, as a brace. My hand, years ago, I could do it just without bracing my hand, but not anymore. It really does steady your hand. All right, so there they are at this point. Now I would like to do a little bit of the lighter color, this some white on the muzzle. Muzzle, that's it, guys. That's what I'm looking for, that muzzle of the one rabbit. Lighten him up, and I need to do the tail of the other guy, and then a little bit of highlighting. Highlight this guy's paws a little. And this guy's tail didn't get any white fluff. And I'll do the edge of his ears. Brighten those up. Look, I got some yellow there, so I'm just going to cover that up with some white. Don't tell. Look, there goes my brush again. Look, it's sucked down into the... These poor things are so old, but I just love them. I should have my hubby get a pair of pliers and really pinch this down for me. Would help. God forbid I throw them out, you know. I can't replace them. I haven't found any to replace them. It's hard to let them go. Like once all these bristles break off and they get really short and then they get stiff, you know, it's hard to use them. So then you really don't have a choice. But until then, I don't want to give them up. All right, I'm going to make this guy's beard whiter and get his muzzle really white. All right, and I'm going to come back in and highlight his paws and his tootsies. And I don't know if you can see, I did get some blue on his spats, so I'll go over that. And if you wanted to, if you were doing a piece similar to this and you wanted to highlight the suit, then you would just, you know, highlight different spots if you wanted. Get his little tail. Now I've just got a few things left to do. He's got, I'm thinking of what I want to do. It's probably against my better judgment to use that black, but I'm going to use that black to do the pupil in his eye. It's kind of drying out a little bit, but we're going to go for it. And then I've got to dig out some silver. Let me see. Can you guys see what I'm doing? This is where I stop breathing. Got some rock and roll happening here. I don't know if you can. It's hard to try to remember that I've got people watching me. That one might be a little wonky. Didn't get enough paint on that time. I don't know if my liner brush is thin enough for this. I'm going to see if I can get a line. This is where it may all go south, girls. May all go south. We'll see. I'm going to try to put a little line up in there. All right, not too bad. I'll probably use a marker to do that. All righty. I think we got a little bit of leakage on that guy's eye. I don't want to hit his hat. There is like a little ledge there, so it makes it a little easier. That dog's going to be in timeout, I got to tell you. And then we just need a little, once that dries, we need a little highlight. All right, so I need to get some, oh, sorry, boys. I need to get some brown to do my cane. I want to do my brown for cane. And I think I'll use some nutmeg. That's also folk art. And I think I'm going to dry brush the... Okay, Sharon. I know, I can't. When I do the eyes, I just automatically hold my breath. It's just crazy. I need to remember where I have my gold. I think I have that up. Do I have it up there? Where did I put my, like my metallic stuff? Oh, this will work. We can use this. This one's right at the ready. This one's bronze. This will work. I found this on clearance. Deco Art. Extra, who knows what. Don't you hate when they put, okay, do they have to put the label across the words that tell you what the product is? All right. I mean, it might be here somewhere, but who can read this crap anymore? Okay, look how small it is. Do they not know that there's a bottom or the top where they could put the freaking sticker? They have to put it over the words. I'm just saying. Let's wise up, people. All right, I want silver or something silver-ish on, well, maybe I could use maybe a little lavender on his eyeglass part. Because Lori does not remember where she put all her metallics. It may be underneath my desk, which really at this point is really a pit. I'm going to use a little bit of this here. Ooh, wisteria. Isn't that a nice word? My grandmother had wisteria bushes. I haven't used wisteria. It's all oily. Yeah, I think you're right, Chris. They don't care. They're doing their time. Okay, I get it. But you know, really, or like the wooden pieces. Okay, you're going to buy a piece of wood that you're going to want to paint on, and they put that sticker right smack on the front, like where most normal people would be putting their design. And then you got to try to get that glue off. Ugh. Makes me crazy. But as my daughter and I have been saying for years, we should just be in charge of everything, and then everything would just be fine and dandy. All right, so we're doing the same color on both pieces. So I'm putting lavender, his spectacles. And I'm going to use this bronze color on his spectacles, and I think his button. Let's do the button here. And then he's got buttons down here on his spats, so I'm going to give his buttons down there a little coat. All right. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do his watch this color. And that's probably like a leather strap there coming out of his pocket. So I may go ahead and do that brown. And let's see, let's do his eyeglasses. Right across the bridge of his nose. And these kind of go back a little thicker, so I'm just going to fill that all in, the bronze. I think that's all I need to do on them as far as the bronze. Let's get this guy. Now, I may probably, if I was doing this as two separate projects, I probably wouldn't do bronze on the lighter guy. I probably would do a silver. But because I'm trying to show how both pieces would look with the same colors, I'm going to go ahead. Not that it doesn't look bad. I just probably, for some reason in my mind, the lighter color of the suit, a silver might look a little better. So I'm going to do his buttons on his spats. Got the buttons on his suit. Got his watch. And I'm going to do his glasses. Now, sometimes people paint and they use really big brushes and they can't get really thin lines. And then they don't understand why things don't look, very good. But if you're not comfortable with a liner brush, practice. Get yourself some paper, a piece of acetate that you can wipe off and just practice. I mean, after a while, it almost feels like using a pencil. It's all pressure related. You just don't have to, if you don't push down very hard, you know, you usually could get a pretty nice result. At least that's been my experience. All right, so now we're going to take some of our brown. I'm going to pop that in. Let's see. Let's have you have a look-see here. Coming along, right? We're almost done. I need to get a little white on this here guy's spats. I forgot about that. Let's just do that real quickly while I'm thinking of it. I want those nice and bright. A nice bright white. Oops, got it on his suit leg. That's not good. And then let's get a little highlight going here. In his eye. Oh, cell phone down. See if I can get him to focus. Come on, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what, Keisha, man, she just pops that right up to her screen, up to her camera, and that clears right up. Come on, fella. Sometimes it does for me. There we go. There he is. Let's see, we'll get a little highlight in the other guy. If you have a really fine dotting tool, that really, you know, works much better. Let's see if we can get this guy close up and personal. Come on, there we go, fella. Cute little fellas, right? Okay, so I'm going to cap up the bronze. I've got my brown out. I'm using nutmeg, folk art. See if I've got a brush I can use. This is a nice rich brown. Let's see here. Those are kind of really big. Let me see if I have another. Oh, we do. Oh, girls, happy day. I found another brush. Okay, so I'm going to put that in my nutmeg. Work it out. Work it out. And I want this to be somewhat heavy in color. Could paint it. But there again, I feel like I would kind of be defeating the purpose of my video. And you can see this isn't going on very well. There's kind of nothing left to the tip of this brush, and it's kind of just not getting any paint down. I think I'm going to give it a haircut. See if I can help that along a little bit. Yes, she does everything. She paints. Well, she doesn't. She doesn't clean. She paints. She gives haircuts. But don't ask her to clean. I haven't given it up for Lent. I've just given it up. he's got this little paw around his cane. Coming down the home stretch. Now, what I like to do best when I would do these pieces years ago, this paintbrush is losing hairs quicker than I lose hair. Whoo! Is doing some detail work or some fun stuff with the pieces. And of course, when you're doing the lady bunnies and things like that, it's a little easier. There's usually more places to do fun stuff like scarves or blouses, skirts, handbags, shoes. This guy, not so much, but I was thinking that I would, now I'm really dry brushing this kind of heavy because I want it to look solid. Old hubby won't go for it, huh? Not even after your shopping spree. Okay. And now we'll go to the dark. Now, if I was just doing this because, you know, I was doing it, I would paint this cane solid because I want to highlight it to make it look like wood. And I guess I could paint them both solid. It still would be the same, but... So as soon as I get this done and get the pipe done, which should only take me a few, really, not even minutes, few seconds. I'm going to decorate them up a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Because we are at 2 hours. I don't like my videos at the long side to be too much longer. Because, see, not everybody's like me and freakish and sits and watches a 2-hour video. Hi, Beth. But these are my dry brush brushes, Beth. And I have a hard time finding ones that, well, that are Lori approved, I gotta say. It's just not a regular brush. So I am a little more patient with these than most other brushes. Now you can see the difference between the light base coated and the dark as far as coverage, even though I did dry brush a little heavier, right? And that's still drying a little bit. So I want to pull out a little bit of gray, I believe, and do the pipe. As you hear my wheel go crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. Let's see. Neutral gray. Let's go for a neutral gray. And again, let me remind you, pour your paint out on your palette. Don't dip into your lid like I do. Thank you, Sharon. That's very kind. So I'm trying to see what brushes I have left that might work. I kind of put all my small ones back in the, because they do get hard and dry, you know, if you don't put them in the water. I think I'm going to try this little. This is just a little cheapy, and this is not a stiff bristly. This is just like a regular paintbrush. But I'm going to try to use it as a dry brush. No water on my brush, just dry, tipping it into my color. And I'm going to give this little pipe a scrub. So my thought has always been, especially with doing the ceramic pieces, you know, for the most part, anybody could just paint them and dry brush them. But I always like to do something a little different to them to kind of make them a little unique to me. So I would either add something like ribbon or buttons or something. But when I'm painting, I usually add a little something as well. And I like dots, so we're going to add some dots. See this here, I have it on so thick it's still not, this cane still is not dry. And now I've got my fingers in it. See if I can pick up a little bit of white there. Dry brush a little bit of white on my pipe. Just give it a little whoof, whoof. Okay. Now I'm going to put that in water. And somewhere I have on my desk here, somewhere I have a little tiny stylus or dotter, whatever you want to call it. And I just have to remember where I threw. Actually, I have a couple of them. And these are from my old ceramic days. And I see I've got jars and jars of paintbrushes, and I try to keep some kind of order. Yeah, I'm a comedian of what I put where. But I've obviously lost control. I know there's one here, girls. Just bear with me. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it in the end. Oops, spray her down. Hey, I think I found one. Oh no, that's the other thing. That's too pointy. Now, I believe my husband has come in from outside. Here it is. I could be wrong. And I think that dog's still barking, okay? And I think he's just ignoring her. All right, I'm going to put out some white paint. I'm still waiting for my canes to dry. And I think I'm done with this nutmeg. So I'm going to start with some dots anyway. That's what I'm going to start with. And this is just an old, I think it's a Duncan tool. Yeah, Duncan stylus. I have a couple of these, but I don't know where the other one is. And this one's, the end of it's really bent, but it still has the little mini dotter thing on the end. I just like these because they're real tiny. So I'm going to put out a little more white over here. And I'm going to put dots on the hat band. I'm going to use the bigger end. And if you want your dots to be the same size, you have to do the same thing. So if you go to your piece, you dip it and you go to your piece and then you dot it. That's what size your dot's going to be. But if you dot off first, and you want to make sure you do that if you want them all the same size. If it doesn't matter to you, do what you want. Sometimes it's nice having different sizes. And the ceramic pieces are not always smooth, so sometimes, you know, it just doesn't go on very well. I'm thinking I want some of that desert turquoise. To add some dots in. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this hat band. Okay, I'm missing chat, girls. I'm not following along here. I'm in dot zone. I just stuck my thumb again in that. I don't know why that, you know what, I bet it's because it wasn't mixed very well, that brown paint. Maybe that's why it's not drying. Might have to get my heat gun out. All right, can you see the little dots on his hat? So I'm going to do that. And then on his spats, I'm going to put a little mini dot of the desert turquoise. And the other thing you want to remember if you're not used to doing little dots like this is that it does collect and starts to dry around your stylus and your dotter. So you want to clean that off every now and again. Especially if you start to see a buildup. You could really put any kind of a design on his jacket, whatever. You could put real ribbon around his hat band. I didn't do my second coat very well. As I'm coming around the corner here, I can see where I have quite a bit of blue splashed over on a spat. But you know what? Nobody's going to see that because it's in the back. So I've got some dots on his spats. Let's see if we can... Hi, Teresa. I don't know if that's going to clear up for you. A little bit. Cute, right? And while I have this little stylus, I don't know about this black. It's kind of goopy. Oh, it might work. I'm just going to put little black dots around to make that kind of look, give you the idea of a clock, of a watch. See? Nothing great. And then I'm going to use a little bit of that turquoise, and I'm going to paint the fob for his watch strap. I'm just going to paint that. Okay, we're coming down the home stretch, girls. Do his little watch strap. And then I'm going to do the turquoise on this guy's spats. Got a little bit of paint stuck in the stylus there. I don't know how I bent that. I don't know what I was doing, but gosh, it's been bent for years. Whoop! Knock these ears off yet. Now the thing is, I've got 2 of these guys, and I've got the whole rest of the families to do. And they probably are not going to get done. Thanks, Teresa. All right, so the only thing I have left to do, I think, is the cane. And then there's a little something I want to do to the pipe. And then that'll be it. Now, the acrylic paint is not sealed until I spray it with a sealer or brush seal it. So I won't. I will ask my husband. He does this very well. I'm a little heavy-handed. So on a nice non-breezy day, I will ask him to put an acrylic spray sealer on them. And then they'll be done. I'm going to use my heat gun just for a moment to dry that cane. I think I didn't mix my brown very well. It was mostly the oil, I think, that I brushed on there. Although it didn't look like it when I was dipping my brush in, but it's still not quite dry in spots, so that's got to be the reason. All right, so now on my pipe, being it's Easter and it's his Easter pipe, I'm going to put a carrot on his pipe, the front of his pipe, just because I can. So I'm going to use jack-o'-lantern orange. And that dog of mine is still barking. I guess she didn't get the memo that she's supposed to stay calm. All right, let's see what we can do here, girls. Just going to take my, this is what? Number 2, number 1. Oh, a 0. This is a 0. I'm just going to make a little cone shape, like give the impression of a carrot. I don't know. I think my husband's probably out working in the flower bed or on the front porch. She's probably barking at him. Or if he's talking to a neighbor, he tends sometimes to, be friendly. I'm like over that friendly crap, okay? I gotta tell you. No, I'm just teasing. I don't really talk to too many people. Well, I'm always in here painting. All right, so now I'm going to take my little liner brush and just try to do a few little carrot sprigs. And I'm going to turn it upside down. I don't know if that's a good idea or bad, but it's done. You see it? Carrot on the pipe. This is his Easter carrot pipe. Well, I didn't unclear that time. Now this one's of course a little darker, so it's not really showing up too much. Let's see. It's got a little white in there. That's a little better. I mean, I could get crazy, okay? I could get out a little brush and do some highlighting, but you know what? These guys are going to go back in a box, okay? I got to tell you. They're just going to go back in a box. I'm not going to go make myself crazy about it. But I do want to do the cane. Let me just tip this a little bit. And then I can finish that off. I'm going to go into this here taupe. No, it wasn't taupe. It was khaki from the very beginning. Let me see if I've got enough. Probably not. Let's get a little more. I tend to be stingy. Stingy! Not that it really matters, but I'm just finding a clean spot on my paper towel. I think I'll put a little white in with that, lighten that up just a little tiny bit. And here we go. And I'm just hitting that in a few spots. Now, if you want more contrast, then you would do a darker base coat, a darker brown. I shouldn't say base coat, darker undercoat. And that's about it. And there you have it, guys. I think that's going to be done. So just to recap, we started out, well, you didn't see it, but they were white bisques. See, that looks white like that. 2 white rabbits, same piece, what I would call like the father or grandpa rabbit. I base coated the one in a light tan color, and the second one in black. And then I used the same colors on each rabbit. So I started out khaki on the ears, and then I went up to the white and so forth. So they're basically done with the same color, same technique. And that's it. Oh, look, I have my finger in orange. It got orange on his leg. Let's quickly try to get that wiped off. How did I? Oh, maybe the carrot wasn't dry. You think, Laura? Look, now I got it on the front. Emergency, emergency. I'm going to grab a baby wipe, see if I can wipe that off. So if I can get the baby wipe to come out of the container. Now, everything was drying very well. I'm not sure what happened here, but... And the orange looks fine. It doesn't look... Well, girls, that's not coming off. Well, I don't want to scratch it, so... Oh, it's coming off a little bit. It doesn't really look like... Maybe I put my finger in the orange when I move my little paint tray. Let's get a little bit of... I can't leave you like that, right? Let's get a little bit of this desert. I keep wanting to say Desert Storm. Thank you, Sharon. I'm just going to put a little bit of the turquoise right on top of that fupa. All right, this is it. This is it. I could start at the very beginning and, rebase coat that and go through my steps, but see, it covers up fairly well. So there they are, ladies. Thanks for joining me and sticking with me for 2 hours and 14 minutes. So this has been on my mind for a while for my ceramic painters. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for being with me, and I will leave you with take time to be creative and enjoy the journey, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks, ladies, and if I don't see you before, happy Easter. Bye-bye.